just introduce you to my audience, and I can, if you want, I can do the same to you. Or do you want to put the link to I guess to this video on yours? Do you have like a collaboration playlist on your channel?
I don't. I should start that actually. I've been on a couple,
Yeah.
so I should get that going. Yeah, once it's done, once the link is up, I'll blast it on yeah Twitter and my channel and everywhere too.
Yeah, the thing I like about YouTube is that on a playlist you can, instead of having to like download the video again and then starting from zero, you can share the link
Right.
and it'll still count towards towards the channel. So it's so if you want, we could what's your channel doing right now? What do you mostly do? You mostly do YouTube, or do you mostly just do written reviews?
YouTube stuff. Yeah, YouTube podcasting
Mm.
reviews is kind of where it's at right now for us.
Mm. And you do podcasting as well?
Yeah, yeah. So I have a podcast with a couple of friends of mine. We do film reviews. We also do like some weekly news roundups, which is like what's going on in like pop culture news and film and TV.
Oh, cool. What was the what days are they posted?
Usually Wednesdays or Thursdays, like around that time,
Yeah.
depending on our schedules, how we can get those out.
I'm gonna have to probably put an alert on it because I know I've seen it a little bit, but I didn't check the schedule, so that's my bad. That's
It's all good.
I'm a fair weather fan, man. I only support my local team when they're winning. When the
Yeah.
Rockets get out of the playoffs, they're fucking dead to me, man.
Yeah.
Where you guys based out of? Are you in Cali or?
Yeah, Burbank, California.
Oh, cool. Oh, but so you were right there with wasn't the convention right there?
Which one?
Wasn't Comic-Con? Where was Comic-Con at?
Comic-Con, the big one is in San Diego.
The San Diego Comic. That's what.
Yeah.
What is it? Burbank? Why am I hearing Burbank a lot? Is that where John Campia lives? Or something?
Yes. Yeah, there's a few people out here. John Campia, the Collider Studios, yeah, a couple other people that I know out here.
You tracked them down yet, or is the hunt still continuing?
I mean, I don't know where Campia is, but I do. I mean, I go to Collider Studios every other weekend for the Schmodown for the tapings there.
Oh yeah. You so you've been in a few of the like the tag team competitions or anything like that, or a single match?
I haven't competed. I'm the promo editor, so I edit all their promos and hype packages for like the live events that they do, and also like the matches that happen every other week or every week. They have 2 matches a week that land, and before each match, they have a promo that highlights the competitors and the story that's going on between them, and so I usually put those together for them.
Awesome. The last person who was on the Schmodown, who was that I interviewed? Oh, she's gonna be mad that I forgot her name already because not Miss Movies, but her partner.
Stacy,
yes.
Stacy Howard.
Because I tease her because she's an Aggie, and I'm all any Aggie from Texas that I know, I'm always giving them a hard time because I didn't go to Texas A&M, and but I wear their clothes a lot. So people always come up to me out of nowhere. Aggies is like a cultural thing. Like, hey, you an Aggie? And I'm like, no. Why would you ask that? And I got the ring and all that stuff.
Yeah.
so I'm always doing creepy. I guess I'm a creepy Aggie at heart. So I go to the game and just perpetrate a fraud. I guess that's me.
All right. Yeah, Stacy's great. I saw her last weekend. Yeah, we're hanging out at a going away party for a friend of ours.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so yeah, she's doing great.
Awesome, man. That's cool. So I wish I could get out there at all. I've still to this day have yet to even visit California yet.
Really?
So one of the places that I haven't gone yet that I want to visit. And the earthquake didn't help.
Oh yeah.
Like, well, you need to turn this damn plane around, dude. I'm not landing. I'm not going over there.
It's coincidentally I had about 3 or 4 different groups of friends come visit California either for the first time or the first time in a long time, and like they all landed right when the earthquake happened. And so
welcome to California, baby.
Not the best foot forward, for our state.
When you said let's get it shaken, you need to be specified. I'm really upset with you on this, but I guess that's what I know that people from California are already used to it. You like the worst thing that you think about is like, did anything fall over or something? Like, oh man, when I get back home, is my stuff going to be on the ground?
Yeah.
And I can relate to that. I did work. I contracted overseas for the military in Iraq for like 6 years. And my first couple of months there, you're a little nervous. You're they don't sugarcoat anything. At any moment they could get bad. And you're in an active war zone. You're in like a 17-mile perimeter base that the Air Force is protecting, and you're hoping that they got an eye out on the stuff that could come in. But things come in and things happen and whatnot. And I remember my first couple of months, my first year there, a little nervous. After flying back and forth, coming home, going back and whatnot. Now, I guess how do I put it? Like when I'm home, it's been years since I've been there, but when I'm home and let's say, for example, like a big bang that it could be a very loud, it could almost like an explosion, but even if it's not an explosion, like a car wreck, something that's just extremely loud, incredibly close, like that movie title, and that would normally make any person go, "Whoa, what the hell was that?" I'm like, but just casually look. It doesn't. I don't even jump anymore. It's weird. So
yeah, you get desensitized to all that stuff eventually.
Exactly. So that's. I guess I just like with California. So I need to just get over the whole earthquake thing and just go out there. Because I would love to do that. Do what you do as far as contributing to Collider. I love the Schmodown. I love all of that stuff.
Yeah, man. If you're ever out here, let me know. I'll treat you out to some Korean barbecue.
Awesome, man. And if you're ever out here, I'll treat you to some Jack in the Box. They got Jack in the Box over there, Cal. Yeah. What am I talking about? Jack in the Box is like it's like I've noticed it's just mostly south and west, mostly.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
And, where did Jack in the Box start off? It wasn't Texas, was it? It was Cali.
No idea.
That's what this show. On today's episode of Talking True Media is we're gonna get right down to the nitty-gritty of Jack. What's he hiding?
Jack in the Box. The munchie food. Like how they embraced all that.
Oh man. 3 o'clock in the morning. You're like the guy. I'm sure that 3 o'clock in the morning guy is like, he gets it every Friday night. He's like, "Welcome to Jack in the Box. Can I take your order?" You're like, "Yeah, man. Do you have any?" "Yes, we have it. Just hurry up." Tacos, right? Yes. I already have it at the window. You don't even have to pay. Just get out.
Yes.
Take it, damn tacos.
According to Google, the first Jack in the Box was in San Diego, 1951.
Home of the Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So comic books and tacos.
Comic books, tacos. You guys Jack in the Box goes hand in hand.
Do munchie food and comic books? Is that?
That's the assumption now. Yeah, just go hand in hand.
We're comic book geeks and hippies. We're all just one big, buzzing family.
I mean, that's essentially what our name implies, even though that's not the truth. Nerd Chronic, that is what that name would entail.
Yeah, that's that. Let's get down to that. Let's ask that. Let me put my journalist hat on.
Yeah.
So, how high are you on every episode of Nerd Chronic, and what is the potency of the substance thereof?
The truth is that we are never high on the podcast. Everyone always that's our tagline now. It's like Nerd Chronic. It has nothing to do with weed. Like that's our tagline at this point, because everyone always assumes that's what the joke is. So that's what the name implies. But what really happened is that we were just looking for names. Like me and my partner Cam, who helped start the podcast with me, and we were looking for just IPs, names that were fair to use around the internet, and we wanted something that didn't have that wasn't existing elsewhere on Twitter or Instagram or Gmail or whatever. So we did a few searches and names, and we found Nerd Chronic was like the one that was available on all platforms. It had not been used in any aspect anywhere. So we figured we'll capitalize on that. We'll jump on it. We'll set up all the accounts that we need for every platform that we'll seemingly want in the future. And that's how that got started. And what the idea behind it wasn't, weed, like as people would assume. It's just like chronic, as in that thing that you are chronically addicted to, which is just nerdy stuff. It could be comic books, movies, TV, video games, so on and so on.
Exactly. Honestly, that's exactly how I took when I read it, when Nerd Chronic, and based on the material that you put out, is just the things that you can get that people like us, I guess, hooked to, whether it be comic books, movies, or whatever. Yeah, that's that's how it comes out. But I'm sure you still get it every day.
Every
So
time, yeah.
so yeah, I was at Jack in the Box and I came across your videos, man. Is this the place where I can? No, this is not that place. Oh, okay. So did you like Endgame?
Oh yeah, we've had a few people approach us, some friends of ours, saying that they would be willing to do a high film review. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What and so you might be falling into a market that you just need to just have an open mind to this movie review is now brought to you by that would be interesting marketing.
Yeah.
And I know some channels that do.
Yeah, I know there's definitely a demographic for that, I'm sure.
It's there's a what's his name? There's he's not a film pundit. He's a journalist, and I originally saw him on. There's a guy named Roland Martin. He's on like CNN. He's on MSNBC a lot, but I didn't know that he lives here in Houston, Texas. And I noticed that he hasn't been on TV that much because he's promoting himself on his channel, and he's still talking politics, mostly all that stuff. He's all about politics, and from the Black perspective as well. But it's funny because it's like know your audience. Right? I'm thinking know your audience. It's like my inside joke. And if I feel like I'm going to put my foot in my mouth when I meet him, if I ask them this, because it's like, okay, you're talking about politics. You're talking about mostly how it affects the Black community, and that's your fan base. And then, all right, we're gonna take some time off for our sponsors, and it's legal marijuana. I'm like, really? You're trying to be the positive influence and make be this social justice warrior and make things better for that for the community and stuff. And it's like we need to legalize. Like I'm just like I guess it would be funnier if this was still the 90s, but today it's not. It's actually going in that direction.
Yeah, it's
serious now.
Always got to break for the sponsors, man. Can't let them down.
He's like, look, I don't judge my sponsors. I just cash their checks.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's like T3 Medias is now brought to you by the kitten murder factory. Kitten murder. Hey, it's not your cat. just come up with a tagline. Right on the spot.
Yeah,
that's what I should do. I feel like I missed my call, and I should just come up with crazy taglines. Nerd Chronic, get high on the sci-fi. There you go.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
There you go. Get high on your own sci instead of your own supply, your own sci-fi.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's pretty good. That's
You guys need me, man.
Yeah, man. I'll keep you in mind when we have some of those. We need some taglines.
What do you so as far as when you do the podcasting, is that like a separate thing from your channel where it's like I do my YouTube stuff here and then a whole different platform for your podcast, or do you take your YouTube recordings and just put the audio on another thing?
So it's actually the other way around. So what we do primarily, the podcast is just audio, and then I put those with like just an overlay of like an image and like the text, and then put those on YouTube. And that's what we primarily do on right now. The goal is to very soon start doing video recordings of the podcast, and also start putting out a few other video content that we have talked about and had in mind for a while now. Broad picture for us is that we just recently opened a studio here in Burbank for work purposes. And we're going to utilize that one for work and for income and revenue, and then for our own purposes, we will then use that in our space as our space for the podcast to start doing some more video content.
Awesome. And I see now I'm gonna look directly into the camera and talk to my friend Sean, who does a lot of videos with me. See, Sean, we need a studio where we can actually meet and do these things, because I mean the Nerd Chronic says that they will pay for it. They will sponsor us 100%. And look, I told you I'm going to make this happen. We've been talking about getting a studio for a while, and it's just money and time and all that stuff. Can we commit to a drive? Because we both live on opposite sides of this big city.
All right.
And it's like, no, we'll just keep doing it like what we're doing right here. We just do it on Google, and I guess whatever happens in the future happens. But lately here it's been more exciting. Amanda just joined the team. She comes here every week, and we're having fun. I'm trying to stay on a consistent like schedule. That's what they tell you
Right.
for YouTube. You have a schedule, it helps, and I
Yep.
guess it does.
Yep. That's what they say.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and that's probably our biggest problem right now is just because, we're trying to make a million things happen. And so like sometimes our schedule, as far as the podcasting goes, our own purposes, like we get a little lax on that. We stay on schedule for, clients and other purposes that we definitely don't want to let down.
Right.
For our purposes, we're still a little loosey-goosey on that. We're trying to figure out like the right time to buckle down and make sure we can get those things out consistently every week.
Exactly. Yeah, I noticed a huge difference. When I first started this channel, it was we stayed consistent. We almost did a recording almost every day, and then when I tried to put more structure in it, I found out the hard way that not committing to that schedule. I'm going to do this every Monday or every this day, and then when you don't stick to that, you will see a
Right.
huge drop off. And it's hard to get that momentum back and whatnot. But life happens, and I mean, I'm a father. I have 3 kids of my
Right.
own that are here with me half of the time, and when they're here, they know what I do. They know that I do videos. So imagine you have an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 5-year-old who are aware of YouTube and want to be YouTube famous.
Yeah.
And they see the equipment and they're like, "Dad, can I be on YouTube?" I'm like, "No, you're not funny. You don't have anything to talk about." And I'm trying to keep my subscribers.
Yeah, so it's not for your safety, just because you're not that talented.
Yeah, exactly. When you develop a talent, then we'll talk. I'll be right there ready to exploit it. But until then, that's why I wish superpowers were real. Because then I'd definitely have some materials. But then I would be afraid for my life because I know he would. I feel like my son is like, I don't know how to explain, like Simba. I can't wait to be king.
Right.
I feel like when he's about 15 years old, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on him because I feel like he's gonna take me out.
It's gonna inadvertently get you killed.
Exactly. Like, oops. Sorry about that, Jack. I guess I'm the man of the house now. No.
Yeah.
But my kids are funny, man. They love their YouTube channels where they watch other families, get to, record and play video games and what, and that's all they want to do. And I've tried to record us doing that.
Yeah.
But I have a 4-year-old who and a 5-year-old who doesn't understand that watching those videos or playing the video game and being recorded is one thing, but they still have the instinct to get up, get right here and put to the camera and do this and be like, "Hi, my name is Cassidy," and whatnot. I think they think that they're live. I don't know what it is, but every time I'm trying to film something with them, they do that. They go right to the camera, right up to the microphone, and they're like, "It's my show now." And I'm like, I have to erase this whole thing. This is garbage. You're all on punishment, and there's no dessert.
This is why you won't be YouTube famous.
Exactly. This is why you're never going to be on T3 Medias. But I don't know. But it's funny. I lie to them. I say, "Yeah, that video that we did, I put it on the channel. It's got like 1 million subscribers." They fall for it because they're kids. You can lie to them. Santa Claus is real.
Yeah.
The Easter Bunny is the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy. They ran off together. So you're gonna get extra chocolates under your pillow. I just make it up as I go.
Yeah, it's like when you give the kid like the unplug controller so they can play.
Yeah. To make them think that they're playing. You mean that trick, make them think that they're playing, but you're really playing? Yeah. They don't fall for that anymore. Oh man, that's a fight right here in this house. But I'm proud that it's funny. With all these new games that are out now, that the violence in some of them, for some reason, my oldest, he's addicted to old school Sonic the Hedgehog, the games that I played at his age. And he's right now in the middle of, he has to beat the campaign of that old Sonic CD game. Right. He's in the middle of getting all the emeralds and all that stuff.
What is he playing on?
Yeah, on our Xbox, my Xbox, and all the old Sega games are on there. I mean, but anything Sonic.
Yeah, I have to give it to Sega, man. Like, they've done a good job with that. Like, they've done a good job bringing back that IP in its original form, because they failed for so many years trying to make it new and hip for the new generations. They just finally realized, just put out what we had before, and like kids will still play it.
Yeah, Just still just stick with now they just do game development. They don't make consoles
Yeah,
anymore, and they save themselves from
yeah,
disaster. It's funny that if I remember the story correctly, the Xbox, so Microsoft originally was going to give themselves to Sega. They wanted to. They came to Sega first. Sega turned them down, or was it PlayStation? One of the two. It was,
I think it
and
might
then
have
they
been
developed
PlayStation.
the Xbox. I think PlayStation almost had a similar story. It was two situations where Sega. Well, I watched those videos, the rise and the fall of Sega, where I think Sega had two opportunities. I think it was Microsoft before the X, way before the Xbox was even a thought, and the play, and it was the Sega PlayStation. Yeah, it was. They both went to them, and Sega they turned it down, and they said, "Well, we'll do it on our own."
Yeah.
And now Sega doesn't make consoles anymore. So, like, what would the world be like right now if it was the Sega PlayStation?
Yeah, I want to see that
Like,
world where, it was a Sega PlayStation and then Blockbuster streaming service and all those, what ifs.
yes, you're. Oh my God, yeah. That's what Marvel should do with that What If show. What if Netflix? What if Blockbuster did say yes when Netflix offered themselves up in a silver platter to them
Yeah.
and to buy them out, and they said, nah, we people love coming to Block. I used to work at Blockbuster. People love coming to Blockbuster. They love this is gonna last forever, just like the movie theaters.
Yeah.
10 years later, like Netflix, please, can I? No,
Yeah.
no, sorry, you can't afford it.
Yeah.
That's how that
Yeah.
is.
That's how it goes. I would love to see that though. I'd love to, even if it's like just as a little intermittent joke in those what if stories. Yeah. Like these alternate worlds with
Do
alternate
you think Netflix should do a documentary or movie on itself and tell that story? I mean, if anything, they will make themselves look great
That's true.
in
Yeah.
it.
They throw all the
I
money
would
they have
love.
it. Yeah.
Oh, I would love that. They would make that. I could see that as a whole series, the rise and fall of Blockbuster,
Yeah.
and
It'd be funny. It'd be funny because Blockbuster's not around to defend itself. So what are they
exactly.
gonna say?
Oh yeah, Netflix divided those guys up and it just on an open farm range, just
Yeah.
picked them all off financially.
Yeah.
Not one by one. Yeah, those guys, I think what they broke up, they sold the remaining stores to the managers there or people there locally, directly. It's all what there's one left, I think, in Australia
Yeah.
or
But
Alaska. I mean Alaska, and
yeah.
it was two and now one, I think, but that's weird.
Yeah. They're going to preserve it as like a landmark or
Yeah,
piece of history at this point.
it's weird, but way up there in Alaska is just weird. I think Blockbuster started in Texas, if I'm not mistaken. I remember looking it up when I was working there. They should create no, Netflix should create a Blockbuster video store.
Like a physical Netflix store, and just like everyone would rush to it. Like all the young kids, all the new generation,
Yeah.
we would rush to it, and they wouldn't know. They would think it's such a novel idea.
have a picture of a big cardboard picture of Brie Larson
Yeah.
and her
Yeah.
Captain Marvel. Like
Yeah.
come back to the 90s, pointing into the store. That would
Yeah.
be funny. Some live posters and stuff. I'll tell you a tale of a day of the VHS cassette, and people are like, wow, it's so heavy. It's not digital
Yeah.
at all. I'd go to that museum. That'd be funny.
Yeah. I mean,
And,
it would
at the end
definitely
of,
get a crowd.
I think a museum like a stadium like place. I think if Netflix would make that'd be funny as hell, and I think it would draw a crowd. But
Right.
I don't know. It's just brilliant ideas that me and you've come up with. Like, they probably won't do it. But,
They won't do it. They won't capitalize on our great ideas.
so what's the rest of your day look like? What's the next show? Are you guys recording? Have already recorded the next episode? Is that
We're going to probably try to do that in a bit. Again, it's just schedules right now that we're trying to work around and rounding up the news for the week, see what's going on. But yeah, it's for the rest of the day. I actually have, so on top of the Schmodown, I also work for a number of different YouTube channels. I also work for Akasan, The Real Rejects, Iman Snow, and a few other people that I'm in talks with right now. And so usually my day, particularly like my day as an individual, I'm either working on the podcast or for the Schmodown or for any of those variety of channels, getting video content done for them. And they're primarily reaction channels. So they react to trailers, TV shows, so on and so on. And I help edit some of their reactions for certain shows.
Wait, so are you the guy in the chair? Is
I'm the
that
guy in the chair. Yeah, I'm the guy in the chair.
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's what's man. See, and it's so hard because I have another great friend. His YouTube channel is I do a plug for it. Silver Screen Analysis. Anthony. I can never say his last name correctly, so I won't try.
Yeah.
But yeah, me and him have been back and forth, talked and collab for some years now. He's a great guy, and he tells me all the time, I got to get out there to California. I'm meeting all these people. They're mostly right there where you are, Burbank, and between that and San Francisco and whatnot.
Right.
And I just need to just do it, man. If not anything, just see Disneyland or just see the sights, because that I've been talking about it for so many years. I got to do it. I should do it, and then life gets in the way, and I just feel like I'm just lazy. It's PUBG that's really that's holding me back. But that's the dream.
You get to that point where like, I could do some work, I could be productive, but maybe I'll just play some PUBG for a couple, for like 10, 12 hours. Yeah.
It's just, I mean, a murder island where everybody's trying to kill you. That sounds the same.
Yeah.
No, but it's one of my goals. I'm always saying I need to go to the conventions. I need to be more active with that stuff. So hopefully I'm trying to surround myself with the people here to keep me motivated and push me to if we're gonna do it, we got to do it. We can't just talk about it. And I'm sure that I'm sure you also provide an Airbnb, because I see a couch there. So
we did for a little while. We had a spare room that we were offering to friends who would come in for the Schmodown out of town for tapings and stuff like that. At the moment, we're in flux. I've lived with the same handful of people for the last several years, people that I know from my hometown. So we're very comfortable with each other. And right now, I live in a house with about 5 other people. And so that's the only way you can live out here in LA to keep the rent down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But what's I'm not just an example. I'm not asking about like for yours, but what's on average, like what is rent for like give me an example of like square foot, because my day job, I am a real estate broker.
Right.
I own my own real estate firm, and I'm about to go meet up with a client right now to sell his contract with his new lease.
Yeah.
So I know the cost of living out here in Texas is a little different from California. So like, what's an example of a rental? Let's say or give me an example.
Well, like everyone out here, usually trying to just live in a place with 4 walls and a roof. So everyone looks for either a studio space or a 1-bedroom space, which in those particular things would range from like a studio space, which is literally just like a square room with enough space to put a bed and maybe like a desk and a TV in,
right?
To a 1-bedroom with that space and then the bedroom. That would run from probably at least $900 to about $1,500.
Dang.
Yeah.
The average. A month. That's not like so a 1-bedroom like with the door, or are we talking about a studio or an efficiency?
Like a studio, literally you walk in the door and that's the room.
You're in the bathtub. Yeah.
Yeah, and then from there is after that will be the 1-bedroom, like, which is the living room space, and then a separate room for the bed.
There are studios, apartment complexes with studios or efficiency units like that are priced that way. But you're talking about the brand new, and they try to be so luxurious, and they're downtown. It's mostly about the location and whatnot. But on average, because I when I first got my real estate license, I was an apartment locator. On average, the average studio apartment is probably like $500.
Yeah.
Here, and my first apartment was a studio. My first when I lived by myself, it was like $4 something a month, and how many square feet? 500 or 600 square feet, I think. Mm-hmm. So it was a nice size. It was just me and one cat.
Yeah.
That I trained to bite all my friends when we played our video games. I trained to bite them on their leg, so I would win. It was awesome. That cat was awesome.
That's really good. Yeah, I mean, that's how it is out here, though. People are happy just to have a roof over their head for the most part, and that's the biggest issue with people trying to come out here and be creative and try to make it out here. It's like the cost of living. That's the biggest obstacle that you have to overcome. I have a friend who just moved out here from the East Coast, and he just made the leap. He just said, I want to make it out here. I want to do the work that it takes to be successful. So he knew he's going to have to do the work in. So he's putting the work in right now to build the income to then necessitate getting a place to stay, which is, again,
Right.
like that's the first thing you have to focus on. If you can't have the place to stay, then it's just everything else is going to collapse after that.
So everybody that lives with you right now, are they also contributing to? Are you the channel? Is it Nerd Chronic? Is that the whole team, or is it just some of them?
In ways, yeah. So like my friend, my roommate who I've lived with for several years is our sound engineer and my business partner. And so he knows everything sound. If you ever need any sound advice or issues to look into, he 100% will probably be able to fix it. We also have a graphic designer friend who lives with us, who's a very talented artist. He just did our logo for our business studio. And then one of my other roommates is my one of my co-hosts for the podcast. He helps me do some of their movie reviews and other topics that we talk about. So it's a great way to keep everyone involved and to make the place itself creative and have that kind of creativity around us at all times.
That would be interesting. I'm always afraid in that situation that my the personal stuff would spill out in the middle of a review. It's like, well, I thought it was a great movie, but you know what would be better if somebody would just wash their dish after, instead of leaving it sitting in the sink, dude. But yes, I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah.
I'm sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, we definitely had those roommates in the past, and we paid our dues. We like to say we've lived out here since 2007 ish,
right?
And we've definitely had our fair share of sketchy roommates, our fair share of sketchy places we lived in, and now we've finally gotten to a place where we're comfortable. We have we have pretty much like a rule of thumb. We only live with people that we personally know very well, that we've known for years, that we would be willing to share a roof with. That way we're not getting any Craigslist people. None of that anymore.
It's like my name is Steve. I think I would make a great roommate. Are you okay with animal carcasses hanging from the ceiling at all times? I don't know about this guy.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. See, I also, there's some bunch of Craigslist stories I could say, because I unfortunately still have to use Craigslist to advertise my services here. But it was bad for a while. But most part, it's just mostly it's gotten better. They've gotten very strict on that platform. But oh man. You're bringing back a bunch of it's just screaming back some memories of some people that I've met off Craigslist that I mean, like almost like these people should have trench coats and just ready. Like my fortune cookie will say something like, anonymous Craigslist stranger reveals himself today, and he's right there. Oh my God! Bam.
I mean, if you look at YouTube comments on YouTube, essentially that's the people who are on Craigslist. It's the same people. It's the people who you wouldn't want to meet in real life.
What's the worst argument that I've gotten into lately with the comments, and I try not to. I'm so used to just ripping into the occasional person, but then I'm like, you know what? I need to be more mindful and respect. Everybody has their own different opinions, but the latest thing that just bugged me was the whole Ariel thing, right. which is gonna be a non-story in a matter of a couple months. When the trailer comes out, it'll probably tick back up a little bit again. But the movie, it might be bad, but it might be amazing. But of course, when the news drops, the worst comment that I got, and I'll probably have to make end it on this because I'm about to be running late. But the worst comment that I got was a guy who said something like, he just straight up told me, right, just like as if he was in the room with me, out of nowhere. The first comment, Ariel is white. That's just who she is. And I could feel him pointing his finger. And I had to step back. I'm like, what did I say? What did I do? And then I made a whole show about it, and me and Amanda talked about it. And I said, your argument is only based on the version that you grew up with.
Right.
I mean, when the cartoon came out, I'm sure if the internet was the way it is now, if it was back then, you would have had a whole bunch of John, Christian Andersen, or John, what's that guy's name who wrote those stories? Is it John Hans Christian Andersen who wrote the story with those book purists? And be like, Ariel is green. She's a psychopathic murderer who almost killed the prince because she because he went with another girl instead of her, and just telling the pure story of the
Yeah.
Little Mermaid. But we didn't hear about that because, all we got our news from was what, Entertainment Tonight. It's like,
Right.
hey, Disney's coming out with a cartoon. Like, all right,
Yeah.
we just accepted it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
But now it's everybody's opinion, and we went back and forth for a little while, and even my explanation about that, I was like this is just the Disney version.
Right.
It's not, it's just relax. But no, I felt like I was in a presidential debate, like she's this and that's it, and you're just gonna, oh, hey, okay, I guess you're gonna just stick with your convictions, and I'm not gonna be changing your mind, but. That was just a weird week.
Yeah.
What's the worst comments that you've gotten so far?
Yeah. Well, I mean, for myself, like it's usually pretty lax. Like, I mean, for us, like either usually when someone just has a different opinion than me, it's like, okay, like whatever, it's their opinion. Like it's gonna be different. Everyone has different opinions, so I can let that go. It's when people make assumptions about things that they just don't have the whole information about, and like they try to express like an uninformed opinion off of something that they could easily clear up if they just read a piece of text that was in front of them. So for one of my clients, Iman Snow, she does what a lot of reaction channels do Patreon perks. So on Patreon you can set it up, and it's like, hey, you pay $1 a month, you get this thing, $5 a month, this thing, so on and so on. For Iman, she has Patreon exclusive show reactions, which means there are show reactions to certain shows that are just on Patreon. Like you pay to see it, and like you won't see them anywhere else. And the reason she does that is because the shows specifically that she reacts to are like known to be very susceptible to copyright strikes.
Okay. I thought going.
They're known to be susceptible to copyright strikes. Yes. If she puts on YouTube, there's a chance that the channel will get a copyright strike and she will get in trouble. 3 strikes and the channel is dead entirely. Right. And so she, a lot of people were upset about it.
You mean based on just the subject matter, or like the material that she's using or showing on the screen?
The materials, like the shows itself, so like particularly their anime. At least some anime studios that produce them are very keen on striking channels that show any content of theirs. Exactly. And so people were a bit upset about that, saying it's very selfish, and it's like like money grabbing to do that because she just wants people to pay for like content like that she won't share publicly. And it's like, I just want people to understand that it's not because she's doing it because she wants to exploit. It's not an exploitation or a cash grab. She just is trying to be safe, because like there are such things as manual takedowns on YouTube. Like people say like, well, can't you just post it? It's like a link elsewhere. And it's like, no, because like the studios actually will manually look out for these videos and take down like any videos associated with their content. Right. And it's happened. I know people who have gotten in trouble for just showing a still image. I know people who have gotten in trouble for humming a theme song from a movie like on their channel. This. Studios will, if they want you, if they have eyes on you,
they'll come after you.
Yeah, if they have eyes on you, like they will come at you any way they can. So
I always feel like it's when you hit a certain, obviously when you hit a certain level of popularity, and they, the one time it really bugged me, I think it was when I made a reaction to the that movie, The Prodigy, that came out recently, that came and went. And I don't know why I got so offended. I didn't get a strike, but I got that little slap on the wrist message, like, hey, they don't want you to monetize this kind of message. Yeah. And I remember taking it personally, like this movie is gonna need all the publicity it can get. Yeah. And really, I remember going on a 30-minute rant about how it feels to me that this movie might not do so well, so you're hoping to get any kind of money you can from any little avenue that you can swing it, which means if you're hoping that my video might go viral, the odds are it won't, but if it does, you will get the money from it and whatnot. And I'm the one doing basically free advertisement for it, and they said that in the guidelines that in a reporting the news type of a way, or just covering or doing a review is supposed to be covered under that, but it really is not. It's just like you said, it's up to them. We might not give you a strike, but we will rig it to, if this video goes viral, which we're hoping for, we're the ones that's going to get that money from that, not you. the real reason why they're coming to look at the video.
Yeah, and usually it's a claim and a block or a strike. Those are the three things that you have to look out for when you make these things.
Exactly.
And it's very tenuous. It's very arbitrary how like that goes about. And I've known people who, like at the moment I'm trying to help a friend of mine who has a channel. He hasn't been able to upload literally anything for the last like 3 months because single video is blocked, like by the studios, manually blocked.
Let me actually, because I just started a Patreon page myself, selfish plug, at /T3 Medias. But so what I've noticed is that when you upload a video on Patreon, they say put the link here. So is it, let's say I did cover something and I used copyrighted material that I know for sure would get a strike or blocked or claimed on YouTube. Do they only hit that button if let's say I kept it unlisted? Would you still get that strike?
There are,
even if or does it have to be private?
They have algorithms that will detect copyright material, like certain copyright material. So music particularly is like the most noticeable thing. Like so they will detect music very easily. So even unlisted or private links can still get taken down by their algorithms. If that flies, then like you're pretty much like more or less safe. If you make it public, then the studios can manually find it and then take it down if they want. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if it's unlisted. They're just looking for if it's being used, period.
Yes. Yeah. The system is looking for it. Yeah.
And so what's I guess like for your friend who has to put it on the Patreon page. So what's the strategy? Is it you just do a direct upload and or just a platform?
A few people that I know usually, like, so Vimeo is a workaround that people usually do. So like for a lot of copyright happy shows, they will put up a YouTube link. So it's like, hey, here is this episode reaction. Click the link down below in the description to your Vimeo so you can watch it there. Then you could it's a redirect. If that doesn't work, like again, like for certain shows, even that is risky because if the studio sees like you're even putting out content in general, they can still manually take it down and give you a strike for it.
Right.
So some people keep it as Patreon perk, and then the thing that they do, which I believe is working for like a handful of people, is they upload it to Google Drive, and Google Drive is not the same system as YouTube, so it will not be auto detected. That
makes sense. Okay, because I know that I know there's a part of it where you can put up like attachments on your post and whatnot, but for the most part for the video, I just noticed, and I'm reason why I'm asking is because I've just literally launched it. That it's asking for a link for the most part. So Google Drive, that's it. That makes sense. I'll probably have to look into that if I if that's the direction I need to go. So,
that's
appreciate the tip.
It's usually the workaround that I see a few people take, and it's worked so far. I don't know of any specific issues that people run into. Besides, sometimes there's a bit like of a delay in like. If like say it blows up and you get like 100 people trying to hit play on it, it will then say like this people are trying to access this too quickly, too much.
Right. That makes sense. And I don't see them attacking that as because YouTube is a different beast, and they had their other rules in place before Google absorbed them and everything. So and because it's the #1 source for all this commercializing and monetizing space, that's probably why they're so hardcore on their rules for that. So that makes sense. It sucks, but at the same time, I kind of understand it. But even though I understand it, it still sucks because I don't care about their reasons. I want what I want, and I want it now.
It's a fickle matter. Copyright is a dangerous beast, and like on one hand, it's like I understand your perspective and everyone else's perspective who are doing these videos, because it's like, one, you just want to share the joy and the reaction with everyone.
Exactly.
That's part of it. I think that's the driving force behind everyone's reaction channel. And then two, it is free advertising, because a lot of these people definitely wouldn't know about a lot of these movies if their favorite reactors didn't show them, didn't present it to them.
Tyrone Magnus,
for example, Magnus, the Rejects, Blind Wave, if they have a good following, it's like a really great turnout for your product to like show to like an audience of 500 to thousands to 1 million subscribers, and that way you get the word out there. And I think at some point in the future, we're going to see studios probably finally get keen to it and like realize, this is actually like a market that we can utilize if we aren't, striking them down every left and right every chance we get.
I was just about to say, it would make more sense to me if they work out a deal like we're still going to take that the lion's share of the monetization, but will still keep the avenue open. It won't be a strike or block or anything against you, and you just won't get as much, maybe, if that makes sense. But to take it all just makes me want to go, all right, I'll never do it. I'm never gonna.
Yeah, and I know channels who have sworn off certain studios because that's the issue. And but then on the other hand, like, I do understand copyright law, and the general rule of thumb for that is you have to defend it at every chance you get, because if you let one person slide, then it opens the door for a million more people to try to let it slide. Yeah. So it is it's very tenuous.
And we cannot let the enemy win.
Yeah.
All right, America. You're right. You're 100% right. I understand the corporate greed of it. But you're right. Yeah, if you open that door for one person, then everybody else is going to be, what about my video? It had a million views.
Right.
So yeah, I know it sucks, but come on, Prodigy, really?
Yeah, Prodigy.
You couldn't let me slide with that. I mean, like as if I'm like patting myself on the back, as if my reaction was going to be the thing that was going to make a whole Prodigy franchise happen.
That was the future. That's another what if. What if your video stayed up, and then we got the next great horror franchise, Prodigy.
Exactly, it would have been the Prodigy 2, directed by M. Night Shyamalan or something like that. Hey, who knows?
Yeah.
And I appreciate your time, man. And it was good finally catching up with you, man. We gotta on a regular schedule. We gotta do this again, if you don't mind. If I could lend a voice to the Chronic, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
It happened, man.
Yeah.
No. I promise I won't do that too much.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be happy to have you on. I'd be happy to come back anytime if you need someone to chat with. Yeah, it was a great time.
Awesome, man. I'll let you get to it. I'm gonna head to work. My client is already asking me if I'm about to lie to him and say I'm right around the corner.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, tell him what the prices are out here, so he should be happy.
Oh yeah, exactly. Hey, I know a studio apartment that you can go to right now that you'll be spending the same amount of money.
Yeah.
For the prices that you said for that studio apartment, he's getting a 3-bedroom house.
Yeah. For the price out here that we're paying, I could be living like a king out there, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, good luck. No. Yeah. But I'm gonna head out, and appreciate your time, man. So yeah. Everybody, I want everybody in the sound of my voice. I want you to go check out the Nerd. Is it the Nerd Chronic, or is it just Nerd Chronic?
Just Nerd Chronic. Just drop the. It's cooler.
Drop the and go and Nerd Chronic, and check out the podcast and listen to my friend here. He's just like I always say, he knows a lot about a little and a little about a lot of things, and I'm sure he'll be able to entertain, explain everything that you want to know about anything that you thought you knew. I'm sure he has the answers. You thought you knew the answers, but you don't know jack. He knows it all.
Absolutely.
And if you feel like it, then you can come to my channel too. But actually, everybody out there, I want you to check out the Nerd Chronic. This guy is awesome, man. I appreciate your time, and I hope we do this again. Sorry to spring on you at the last minute, and
it's all good.
have a great rest of your day. I'm gonna get my coffee on.
Yeah.
And until next time, man.
All right. Good luck next time. Have a good one.